when you max out those liability limits, which a lot of times is $500,000 is the maximum you can get, then you can purchase both a commercial umbrella policy or a personal umbrella policy.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Connections That Matter, where we talk with normally Northern Colorado's best networkers, but we are going multi-state. I got one of Wyoming's best networkers, but she does network quite a bit in Colorado as well, Michelle Gould from the Gould Agency. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. I've really enjoyed getting to know you, Michelle, and in Northern Colorado, people are driving from maybe Windsor to Fort Collins. You drive a whole big region of areas. So
yes.
Tell us a little bit about you, your agency, and your coverage area.
Okay, well, my agency, the office is located in Casper, Wyoming, but I cover multiple states, Wyoming, Colorado, of course, and surrounding states, South Dakota, Nebraska, Idaho, and then Arizona, because I have a few snowbirders that are in all the states. So I have connections in multiple towns. Northern Colorado, have family in Colorado. So
well, how do you build the referral ecosystem in Casper and then Cheyenne and then Fort Collins? How have you built relationships?
I've joined various networking groups. I do events through Chamber of Commerce. I belong to Wyoming Women's Networking. There's ladies in there from all towns. Networking in Action is how I got connected with you. Also, realtor associations, mortgage associations, sponsoring various events, and just getting involved in the community is mainly how I do it. So
really cool. And driving around, I'm curious of the drive time, and do you listen to podcasts? Are you jamming out to music? How are you handling all the road time?
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I like listening to talk radio,
sure,
podcasts, books. Kind of use it as a time to expand my knowledge and things I'm curious about. So, and I occasionally jam out, but
there you go. Well, with so much time on the road, and obviously somebody who insures motor vehicles, and you see some different things. I know in Northern Colorado, traffic is getting more congested. But how has auto insurance changed over the course of the last couple of years?
Well, as everybody probably knows, it's increased significantly. Yeah. And it is due to a few factors, more drivers on the road, more accidents. Also, Wyoming and Colorado, we have a lot of wind and hail claims, which contribute to that. And unfortunately, a lot of uninsured drivers, which increase costs because those of us that carry insurance kind of pay for those who don't. So.
Right.
Yeah.
For those who don't have uninsured motorists, what are some statistics? I don't know. I've heard some things, so I don't know if they're real. But what is the likelihood that the person driving next to you is not carrying insurance or underinsured?
I suppose I don't have the actual statistics, but I know. There is an epidemic of uninsured drivers in Colorado in particular. I know that the Highway Patrol is focusing on targeting uninsured drivers, trying to increase the number of drivers that are insured. My stepson actually works for the Highway Patrol.
Okay.
So I don't actually have the statistical numbers, though, but I'd say the odds are pretty good.
Well, the one thing, if they're working with you, they're covered the right way. But how do you advise people to set up their policies so that they have the right minimums, even if I want the cheapest rate?
Right. So primarily, you want to protect your assets. And because if you don't have the right liability limits, liability is what covers another party's damages if you're at fault.
Yeah.
It could open you up for a lawsuit, either from the person that you damaged or from their insurance company. So look at the assets you want to protect, equity in your home, retirement savings, your current income, anything that a judgment could be placed against, and make sure you're carrying enough liability to protect that. And then also just thinking about the cost of a new vehicle. Nobody purposely has an accident, I don't think, but if you total a brand new Tesla, a brand new, F-250, F-350 truck that are here, I mean, you could be looking upwards of $100,000.
Sure.
Yeah, so just several factors to consider.
Well, I think as business owners too, you own businesses. You might have work vehicles, or you might be on the work clock when you're doing those kind of things. Does the insurance change for business owners? Does it update? I mean, how would you advise us? Is it like umbrellas in addition to the liabilities?
Yes, you can get a personal umbrella and a business umbrella. Depending on how your vehicle is titled and how you're using it, if you're a business owner, you may have to have a commercial insurance policy if the vehicle's titled in the name of the business or you're using it for business activities. It's advised to have a commercial policy. And then in addition to, when you max out those liability limits, which a lot of times it's $500,000 is the maximum you can get, then you can purchase both a commercial umbrella policy or a personal umbrella policy that will pick up the difference if for some reason damages exceed your underlying limits. So,
well, I'm curious about networking because I see people in these networking circuits, like the people in Fort Collins, Loveland, Windsor. You'll see them around all the different groups, and then it seems like they don't pass Berthoud. The Longmont is kind of its own ecosystem, and then you get Erie, Lafayette. Wyoming's obviously a different ecosystem. Do you have different strategies for different circuits, or do you pretty much roll the same strategies no matter where you're networking?
I think kind of similar strategies, just getting involved in find a way to get involved in the local either networking groups, Chamber of Commerce I mentioned. Just try to learn more about each community that I network in, and get to know the business owners, try to figure out ways I can support them. So,
yeah, really cool. And I loved the list of all the places you network: the Home Builders Association, women's groups. Where have you found the most success, or what do you love about all the different ones?
I think I found success a lot in the association groups, like the Mortgage Association, Realtor Association. I think probably because it's, adjacent. Everybody buying a house usually needs insurance because they have a mortgage.
Yeah, they need to get to the closing table, right? The lenders don't want to lend unless they're insured.
Yes, but it's also advisable to have home insurance regardless.
Yeah, of course.
So, yes, and then just other groups that, that I can, like I don't offer health insurance, so partnering with people, professionals that offer health insurance or Medicare insurance. A lot of times people don't know kind of the differences in who sells what insurance. So finding people I can partner with when I get those questions. And sometimes I'll get questions about home and auto insurance and they refer over to me. So just kind of reciprocal, finding people that we can exchange when needed, or when someone has a claim, having people like roofers and to refer to, or plumbers, whatever the situation calls for. So,
well, let's unpack one of those relationships, the people that you have a consistent pipeline of referrals for, or you receive referrals from. Pick somebody that you've developed a relationship. I'm curious, like, how'd you meet them? How do you keep that relationship strong? And what does that look like on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, well, the one I thought of, I have a few, but the one I thought of is a mortgage lender with Legacy Lending Group, and her name's Laura Edwards Iverson. Nice. And I actually invited her son, who's in Cheyenne, to the Networking in Action group. He started working with her. But I originally, when I started in insurance, I had a captive agency, which means I just sold for one company. And I started to realize that I was helping a lot of her clients already. So I just
Nice.
went in and to her office, introduced myself, got to know each other. We've done a few lunches, but now we've just kind of built a relationship where she automatically refers her clients to me. A lot of them call me, most of them do. And I may or may not be able to help them, but I always try.
Yeah.
And so we've had a relationship now for, gosh, maybe 7 or 8 years. And then to keep it going, I try to go out and visit her once a month, drop into her office, invite her to a lunch. We belong to a couple of the same association groups like Northeastern Wyoming Realtor Alliance, so we see each other at those meetings, and then I've gotten to know a lot of people through being involved with her. So
Sure. Well, I'm curious how you win the relationship, because you're not the only insurance agent in town, right? So if you're saying I'm the one that she consistently refers, what was that kind of initial spark where that pipeline started to flow? Like, what did you do to win those first couple of deals?
I think responding quickly to her clients and to her when she's needing something. And then when I became a broker, having more options where I can a lot of times offer better rates with great coverage. And just, I think the key is just being responsive and staying engaged.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm curious, like, at some level, the products, it got to be the right fit for the clients, but also
Right.
you're a big part of that process and that making sure there's successful transactions and there's no drop in communication within. So talk to me about the communication that you do with the referral partners. What does that look like, and how would you advise another business professional if they're trying to create referral relationships?
I just tell them, what I do, how I can help them, what products I have to offer, and then I guess follow it up with, follow through on it.
Yeah.
Follow through on it. I'm not sure. I think it's just consistency.
Yeah.
So consistently working the relationship. So
Well, one question I get asked a lot is like, how do you pick your people? So if you're going to like a home builders association or mortgage, there's multiple mortgage lenders in the room. You got one that's super loyal to you, but you could be a resource for multiple different lenders. So how do you kind of balance that of like who's number one on your list versus who's on the list for you?
Well, of course, I'll take referrals from anyone. But,
Right.
But when I'm like in a meeting or go out and visit, I just approach multiple people. Some people you have a better connection with than others. Sometimes you learn they're needing the help, they're needing a resource, or they might try you just to see what you have to offer. But I just talk to everybody.
There you go. Well, I think it's like power of like being in the rooms and being consistent. People want to do business with people that they see consistently, and there's a lot of people who network for a season and then they're gone. And so if you see those people that are trusting, that goes a long way. So what are some of the goals? What do you kind of foresee in the future of insurance, or if somebody is getting a business that they're trying to expand and grow, like what kind of coverages would you recommend that they get?
For a business,
Yeah.
okay. You definitely need your general liability insurance, no matter what kind of business you're in, and then based on the type of business, we'd specialize it. Like this morning, I wrote a policy for a coffee shop. He's a new business owner, coffee shop, so we made sure he had coverage for his business personal property. He's renting the space, so doesn't need building coverage, but he needs coverage for all the stuff in the building, for signage outside the building, employer liability, cyber coverage, which is the one maybe people don't think about, data breach, all the credit cards and things getting hacked these days if he was being held liable for something like that. So we just kind of looked at everything that his business might need. Food contamination, they're handling food products. So basically, I just sit down with a business owner. We talk about, do they own the building, not own the building? How many employees do they have? What type of business are they in? What type of operations do they do? And then we tailor the coverage based on what the business is. So.
Sure. Well, I think there might be some people watching right now, and they're like, I don't know if I have the right coverages, or because there's a lot of specific riders and policies, and you might have been covered the right way a year ago when you bought the policy, and now your business is expanded. But if somebody is like wanting to just get a review or check things out, or see if you might be able to offer them a better rate or better coverages, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can call me. My direct line's 307-285-2527, and that rings right to my cell phone no matter where I'm at. My computer's always with me. Or email me at michelle.gould@goosehead.com.
There you go. And that 307, so for Colorado people, Wyoming people love Wyoming environments. So, I guess talk to me from a Colorado business owner to a Wyoming business owner. If I'm bringing in a 97 though, or a 303 into the 307, is that a big deal, or am I just making that up in my head?
It's not a big deal. I guess only if it's a big deal for you, but no, it's not a big deal for me. And in fact, I have an agent partner here in Colorado. I write quite a bit of commercial insurance here in northern Colorado.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there you go. I think, sometimes people think of like, well, I keep it in Colorado, but Cheyenne is super close. Laramie's super close. There's big opportunities to maybe tap into some new markets and then network with great people like you. Yeah. So, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on the show, coming on the Connections That Matter. And we look forward to seeing you around northern Colorado and Wyoming.
All right. Thank you.
Hey all, thanks for watching. I love networking and building relationships with other Northern Colorado business leaders. So if you want to come meet some of these podcast guests, meet me, or meet some other amazing entrepreneurs in Northern Colorado, I would love to have you attend one of our next events. Go in the podcast description. There's a ways that you can see our upcoming schedule, and maybe you could be a future podcast guest as well. Thanks.